Hello everybody, yeah, welcome to Just for Women Africa, and my name is Olaleko. I'm also the founder of Just for Women Africa. Do you have a fashion brand and you're looking on how to set it up? You do not know what to do about pricing, marketing, and all that? Well, today's episode will answer all that. Today we have with us Elorm Amankwa, who is a fashion consultant. She'll be talking to us about her brand, Ace Avenue Agency, what she does, her plans for the future, and how she came about being a fashion consultant. So stick around and we'll be right back. Hi everybody, welcome back to Just for Women Africa. We have with us Elorm. Elorm, you're welcome to Just for Women Africa.
Hi, Nathan. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, Elorm is quite interesting. I've never heard the term a fashion consultant before. I mean, what is actually a fashion consultancy?
But actually, I like to say fashion business consultants because the business aspect there is important. What we do, or what I do, is I help fashion brands improve the business side of their brand to help them run as a business. So everything that includes the strategy and operations that's going to help the fashion brand to grow, to scale, that's basically what I do.
Okay. So when you say, help the business to grow, what exactly do you do? You help with the cutting, the designing, the marketing? I mean, what exactly does it involve?
So no part of my job includes actual making of the garments. It's just more of the, like I said, the business side. So for example, one of the services that I have is pricing. I help brands understand how to cost and price their product correctly. Another service that we also have is retail management and retail strategy. For those that are interested in going beyond just selling the product in their own store, whether an online store or their own shop, but are interested in actually having their product out there in other stores, both locally and internationally. We discuss all of that in the retail strategy session. So I also have another service, which is the product development booster. And that's for brands that are interested in scaling their production. Maybe they were producing in-house with a small team, let's say like 2 seamstresses or something, but now they have more orders. I'm talking about people that are doing ready-to-wear orders, not tailor-made, not custom-made clothing, but ready-to-wear orders that the clothes are made and ready to be sold. So the ready-to-wear orders, now they're thinking about how they can improve that, increase the quantity. That's what the product development booster course does. It helps them know how to reach out to factories, what to look out for, how to work with the factories to ensure consistency so that you're producing the same garments in multiple sizes consistently, same style, all of that. That's just one of the things. So those are some of the services that I offer.
Okay. So why do you think there was a need, to have the fashion business consultancy? Do you think it's an issue, fashion designers here in Ghana and Africa, lack, and you thought that's why you wanted to enter the space?
So I started because I've always been interested in fashion. I actually started learning how to sew when I was younger because I thought, as a Ghanaian, I'm interested in fashion, meaning I'm going to become a dressmaker. But then I went to business school. I realized I loved business. And then I was always thinking about how, because I loved fashion. So those that I knew in the industry, all the things that I'm learning, I'm like, how can I use this to help them? And then when I went to do my MBA, I did my MBA in the States, in Philadelphia, and I ended up doing an internship with a fashion brand in New York, which is a very interesting story. I basically stalked that guy till he gave me the job. And then I learned so much on the job, and I kept on thinking, I wish I could share this with the people, like with my brands, my fellow designers and things that I know back home, because I realized that a lot of it was just out of passion, the love for the craft. But I was like, there's so much more that they could be doing to actually help the business grow. There's a lot of behind the scenes things. We see all these brands in Europe and America, and we think it runs the way it runs back home, but it doesn't. It's a whole system that's set up. It's actually a business. So as I was learning all those things, that's what made me really say, okay, I need to find a way to turn everything I'm learning into services that I can package and share with other designers.
Okay, that's right. Okay, let's talk about one of the services which you offer, pricing. Do you think it's an issue here in Ghana and Africa?
I think the issue is more of the brands understanding how to properly cost each collection that they're putting out. I think a lot of the time it's done on, the excitement, the idea that you have, the vision that you have in your mind of what you want it to look like. You're buying all these different things without actually sitting down to look at the cost. Because I've actually had a client come to me before. She had put together an entire collection. They had actually done the show. It was a runway show sponsored by a huge alcohol brand. It was a whole big thing. The show had been done, and now she was coming to me to ask, so how much do I sell them? This was after the fact. So it's like everything was done on creativity and the love for it. But now you don't even know how much you're going to sell it. Have you even stopped to think whether, as I was like, putting all the materials together, is this within a certain price point that my customer can work with? But just running on pure creativity. So I think from the costing aspect, there's a problem because sometimes some things are left, they don't pay attention to some things. And then on the pricing strategy aspect, I think sometimes there's also a problem because some people just want to price based on how their benchmark is pricing. Like we're in Ghana, most brands look up to Christy Brown because you say, okay, I also want to be a luxury brand, so I'm going to price similar to what she's pricing. But you have a completely different cost structure than she does. So you can't just get up and price like her because you want to be like her. Mm-hmm. So sometimes some brands price just because they want to be like someone. Other times, brands completely underprice because of insecurity, because of imposter syndrome. It's like, okay, I am a creative brand, but I feel like nobody thinks I'm going to be good enough. So let me just barely add any margin and I'll barely get by because I'm afraid nobody's going to want my product. So there are issues on both the costing side and the pricing side. So overall, I think it's something I like to talk to my clients about because I think there are issues there to be raised. That's
interesting because I never really thought that pricing would be an issue. I thought it was just about buying the material. You look at your electricity, you look at how much you're going to pay your staff. What again? Just to do margin for taxes and all that, and you have your price.
Mm-hmm. But as you're buying the material, are you thinking about the number of trips I had to do? Maybe you bought the material, you realize no, it would rather match better with this one. You've done so many trips. Are you factoring all of that in? Are you factoring in because the material you bought, was it just for the sample or was it the bulk? There's a difference between the small 5 yards you buy for the sample, mm-hmm. and if you are buying 20 yards for the bulk that you're going to do. Have you thought about all of that? Mm-hmm. So
that's okay. As a fashion business consultant, what other issues are fashion brands, we're in Ghana, so let's talk about Ghana, mm-hmm. in Ghana facing, and they're not able to meet their peers like, in Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, or in Tunisia. Mm-hmm. What's actually wrong with the fashion industry in Ghana? Because I've spoken to a couple of fashion designers and they go like, until you get into the business, you realize how backwards mm-hmm. the fashion industry is in Ghana. You don't get to even buy certain materials, you have to import them in from Nigeria, South Africa, Dubai or elsewhere.
Problem becomes the question of problems. There are many problems. There are many problems. I think one of the main ones is what you mentioned, which is consistency in materials, the fabric. You go to the market, you see a fabric you like, you buy it, but then now you are not able to, when customers want more of the same thing, you're not able to find the same fabric again. Mm-hmm. So now you have to say, okay, it's available, but it's in a different color or something like that. That consistency becomes a problem because now when they're trying to scale, it means that they're going to have to import the fabric. Most likely, they're going to have to import the fabric so that they can have consistency. So that's one of the issues. I think another issue is probably lack of information. I think we don't share enough information with each other. People don't really know. For instance, if it comes back to pricing, right? If there's shared information, I think it makes some things easier because you don't even know where to, not even pricing, maybe sourcing, where to get some materials from. But some people also don't want to share the information because you feel like if I share, other people are going to get the same materials and will be doing the exact same thing. So there's that issue. So people don't want to share. So the sourcing is a bit off. I think lack of information or lack of inability to share information, maybe, let me put it that way, is one of the issues. I think another issue would probably be, I don't know how to phrase this, but one thing I've noticed with a lot of my clients, the smaller ones, the startups, is they are so focused on the crafts. So the networking and the strategy part is not there. For you to thrive in the industry, you need to know what's going on in the industry. You need to know who are the people I can collaborate with, who are the photographers that are taking great shots now, who are the bloggers that I need to know, who are the models, because maybe you know this is the way you want your brand to look. You need to know which models are out there. It's not every model that can embody your brand, your clothes, the way you want them to. If you're not going for events, you're not exposed to things. You're not exposed to the other parts of the industry, is what I'm saying. You're not exposed to other parts of the industry. Maybe even you go for an event, you find out that there's a kente supplier that's willing to customize kente, like, make a unique prints or unique prints for you. You wouldn't know that if you haven't gone to the event. So a lot of them just tend to be like, let me wake up, go to the studio, design, go back to sleep. And that's the same thing they do every day. But the networking part is important for strategic thinking. So I think sometimes the brands miss out. A lot of the small brands I work with, that's one of the issues. They don't know anything that's happening in the industry. It's just them and their machine.
So how do you help them out of a situation like that? Okay.
I try and point them in the direction, the pages in terms of social media pages that they should follow, people that they should keep up with if they want to know what's happening in the industry. There's so many free events, free workshops. So sometimes they'll say, well, I don't know which workshop to attend. So just pointing them in the direction of the pages and things that they should keep up with so that they know what's happening in the industry.
I do agree. Networking is really, really important, no matter the business you are in. All right. Okay, so let's talk about your business and how you operate. Do you do walk-ins, retainers, or you go out looking for clients?
So far, most of my clients have been referrals. At least in the beginning, that's how the first couple of years. So I've been doing this informally for about 8 years, and I've always done it on the side while working full time. So for the first couple of years, it was always referrals, just purely referrals. But then I would say this year I started marketing my brand a bit more, just a bit more on social media. So some of my clients have come from social media. But in terms of how to book or the kind of the tiers of services that I offer, I do have retainers. First of all, everything is online. Basically, everything is online. You book my services online. Unless the client wants a retainer, then they can contact me, and if my team has availability, we plan something. But for all the other services, they're all packages that I have online. Whether you want to do a brainstorming session, whether you want to do a pricing session, retail strategy session, it's really just a matter of going online and booking the service. You make payments online. It directs you to my calendar, so you book a date with me when you are available, and I'm also available, and then we have the meeting on that date.
So basically, that's how your business operates. Okay. So you've been doing this for the past how many years? 8. 8 years. How many clients do you have, and could you mention a few?
For the number of clients I have, like I said, there are different tiers of services. For retainers, people on retainer, that says I'm working with them on a month-to-month basis. Currently, I have 3, and then there are those that book one-on-one sessions with me. That's what I was talking about, booking online. They book one-on-one sessions with me. Those ones sometimes are one-off, sometimes they come for another session. But for retainer clients, it's 3. But altogether, number of clients I've worked with probably be around 50.
50. That's a lot of clients. I manage them alone, or you have staff who work with you?
I have a team of 2.
Team of 2. Wow, so you're a busy woman.
Okay, so the story of how I got into it, so I've always been interested in fashion growing up. I always thought I was going to be a designer till I went to business school, and I realized I was interested in business. So that led me to do my undergrad in finance. And then my master's, I did an MBA with a concentration in marketing, and that was in Drexel University in Philadelphia. So while I was in Philadelphia, I had started getting into podcasting, into listening to podcasts, and I found a fashion business, I guess I would say a fashion business podcast called Fashion Lab Africa. And I realized one of the hosts was Nigerian, and he was based in New York. New York wasn't too far, or isn't too far from Philadelphia. So as as I was listening to it, I was knowing his story more, and I was more fascinated by him. So I reached out to him on Instagram, which now I don't know if I would still do the same thing now, but I reached out to him on Instagram because I'd been following him and his work for some time. I tried my luck, reached out to him on Instagram. I asked him if he would give me an informational interview, which was basically me sitting him down to ask him all the questions I had about the industry, because I wanted to know his experience as a Nigerian in America running a fashion brand. And he agreed to it. So we had the interview, and it was just really interesting. It was eye-opening for me. And then I asked him if he would be open to me being his assistant. And I think he was just kind of impressed by my I guess how eager I was, because I went all the way from Philadelphia to New York just to interview him and ask him about fashion. Okay. So he agreed. I became his assistant, and I worked with him. So while I was doing my MBA, I was in school, and then I think 3 times a week, I'll take the bus to New York after school, and then go work with him, and I'll come back in the night. Okay. So it was quite stressful, but I loved it because I was learning so much, and that was when I was really like, I have to figure out how to do this. I mean, even if it means me taking the bus every day or every other day with, you know, all sorts of creepy people on the bus and stuff, I'll do it because it was such a great experience. So that's really what got me started. And when I came back to Ghana, I started working with a company called Ethical Apparel Africa, also in the fashion space. And there I found my mentor. She's called Dorcas Payne, and she was the first person I knew who called themselves a fashion business consultant. So she literally held my hand and was like, this is how to get clients, these are the type of jobs you can do, etc., and just, you know, introduced me to the whole thing. So that was how I got my start.
So you did mention the name of the guy in Philadelphia.
Edgy Benson. How can I not forget his name? He's the one who gave me my start. He's called Edgy Benson. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Big up to Edgy Benson. If you're watching, thanks for giving Elorm her first start.
Yes.
Okay. So let's continue about your business. It's Avenue Agency. What's the plans for the future? I mean, been in business for the past 8 years.
Mm-hmm. So the future for me, for my company, looks like more digital products. Just recently, last week, I launched my first set of digital products, which are templates for fashion brands to use, because I find that a lot of the time brands are not, when it comes to how they present themselves professionally, they don't really have anything to show for themselves. A brand is applying for something, and then all they do is to send an email with a long write-up. This is about my brand, and they attach some images. They don't really have they don't know how to create a proposal, or they don't have, even when it comes to their relations with their customers, they don't have a rate card. So they find themselves answering the same questions each day. Let's say they do bridal wear. Your customers are asking you all the time, how much do you charge for traditional kente? How much do you charge for the white wedding? What's the price range for bridesmaids dresses? People are asking them the same questions, but they haven't put together a rate card. So my first group of digital products was 5 templates that brands can use to help them become more efficient, to help them present themselves more efficient, more professionally to either someone that they want to partner with or their clients. So the future for me looks like creating more digital products, because it's easier to reach more people that way. I can't be everywhere at once. I can't do one-on-ones with everyone all the time. But then with these templates, it becomes easier for people, because the templates are they have prompts in them to let them know this is the type of information you need to include here, and so on and so forth. So it's basically how I am scaling my own service, because I'm one person. So the future for me looks like more digital products, and still maintaining the retainers, still maintaining a few one-to-ones, but definitely more digital products.
Okay. Before we end the show, let me just ask you a quick question on your opinion on this. The industry has evolved over the years. Mm-hmm. I mean, and now there's this talk about AI, artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. What's the impact of that going to be on the fashion industry?
So AI, there's so many different aspects to it. There's the chatbot aspect, which I think people are leaning into a bit more now, using chatbots to respond to their clients, especially for brands that have so many inquiries. They have a lot. Let's say they're organizing an event. There's so much happening. Sometimes they need a chatbot to just make sure that their clients are engaged as they're responding to them. And there's using AI in design, which I think some people are a bit wary of, because it's like, well, if AI is designing, then am I, the designer, am I obsolete? But I think that there are ways that that the fashion industry can, because we can't run away from it. I think the more we can see how we can embrace it and use it to be better, the better it is for us. For example, there's I think it's called Moda Betha and probably more other brands. But there's some brands in Ghana that have started doing digital, well, maybe that's not AI, but digital illustrations, so that especially for those that want custom-made clothing, so that you are literally showing, like in 3D, what this garment is going to look like as opposed to a sketch. That's like a way of dipping a toe into the waters of using technology in fashion. And there are other AI services that can actually design, but my whole thing is I think designers need to learn how to embrace it and see how they can use it to improve the service that they offer their clients. Rather than being afraid of it, why not see how we can use it and improve our service to our clients so that they are happier? Because if we don't embrace it, it's going to take over anyway.
Okay. In your opinion, do you think AI would take away, fashion designers?
I don't think it will take away fashion designers, but I think those that find ways to hold on to it will remain relevant.
Okay, Elorm. As we run up the interview, this is just for Women in Africa. What's your advice to women out there who feel it's a man's world, who feel, they need money to start a business, they get sexually harassed by the men, they feel, it's a man's world, basically. It's not theirs, and basically look up to you as a consultant. What's your advice to them?
For me, it's continuous learning. I don't know if it's my personality, but I feel like whether you're in the creative industry or not, whether you are continually learning how to improve your craft, improve your business knowledge, I think those two, for me, it gives me confidence. The more I know, the more confident I am to step out, because it's easy to have imposter syndrome and be worried about, all that's going on out there. But for me, it's like the confidence comes from it's like the roots. The roots are, I know that I've done the work to learn this, to learn that. So I think continuous learning, YouTube is there. And even if it's not learning strictly business or learning strictly your craft, doing the research on the people that inspire you. I get motivated by watching the people I look up to. It gives me ideas. It makes me see that it's a representation I need, that this person was able to do this. Maybe I can also do that. So I think it's really continuous learning, and then research on the people that have done the things that we want to do, because I think that inspiration, it keeps us going.
Okay, I like that. It keeps us going. And so viewers who are watching who would love to get in touch with you, get your hold of your services, could you give out your contact number and details?
So for me, I usually prefer everything online. So on Instagram, they can find at aceavenue.agency, or my personal Instagram, because I also post business content on my personal Instagram, which is Sika_Amankwa with no H at the end, or my website, which is www.aceavenueagency.com.
Okay, and so viewers who are watching, you can find all the details in the description below, and you can always reach out to Elorm. All right, Elorm, thank you so much for being here with us on Just Women in Africa. We wish you all the best. We look forward to interviewing again in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
You're welcome. And so viewers who are watching, do not forget to like, subscribe, tell your friend who knows a friend about Just Women in Africa. And to the next show from Elorm and I, it will be bye.